For the first time, a Russian oil tanker just passed through the Strait of Hormuz, but this goes way bigger than just that. In fact, unlike every other ship that has so far passed through the Strait of Hormuz that has left the Persian Gulf because it was trapped in there, this Russian oil tanker actually entered the Persian Gulf. Now, this ship is the Russian-flagged supertanker called the Hamida, and it was empty according to reports. Now, at the moment, most ships in the Persian Gulf are trying to escape. They're trying to get through the Strait of Hormuz as it's been shut for the last month. The ships and their crew in the Gulf have been stuck there, and now they have a chance to leave, now that there's a ceasefire. But this Russian-flagged ship marks the first ship that has actually sailed into the Persian Gulf, and there's only one reason for that. And I'll tell you what that reason is in a moment, and it actually could start a separate war. But you do need to know that even though there is a ceasefire, the Strait of Hormuz is not fully open. Ships are still not being allowed to get through. At the moment, Polymarket predicts there's only a 21% chance that the straits open back up to normal by the end of the month. So it's unlikely it's going to happen, and this suggests that this Russian supertanker actually had to get permission to travel through, like the rest of the ships. But we now know why it traveled through, and it was to reach Iran's Karg Island. If you don't know, Karg Island is the island where Iran produces all of their oil. They load it onto ships to send it around the world. And this Russian oil tanker that's empty is going to that island, presumably to pick up oil and then bring it back to Russia, or maybe move it to another country. But this sends two messages to the West. One, Russia is happy to work with Iran, even though there's the risk of escalation of conflicts, etc. But the other big thing is that it sailed to Karg Island. If you don't know, for the last month, the US has been saying that Karg Island is now completely out of order after their airstrikes. The US said that they completely demolished the island and carpet bombed it. But now, this oil tanker is going there, which suggests that that's wrong and that didn't happen. So we now know that the US is probably lying as well. And so that would suggest that possibly the US hasn't carried out anywhere near as much damage as they've claimed over the last month of war. And that's a big deal. And we know this all because a Russian supertanker has now sailed through the Strait of Hormuz and into the Persian Gulf up to that island. This is something that you just would not have heard about, and if you did, you wouldn't know the consequences it has and what it tells us. If you didn't, leave me a follow, because I cover all of the stuff that you won't find anywhere else and give you perspectives that you won't find anywhere else.